Hey guys, welcome back to another soccer game review. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about the U.S. women's national team taking on Mexico in their Olympic send-off series. Well, it's not really a series. Really what's going to happen is the U.S. is going to play, they played Mexico already, and then on July 5th, they're going to play Mexico one more time before going off to the Olympics. So let's get right into it. So looking at the starting lineup, we have if I can find the starting lineup, sorry. So looking at the starting lineup, we have the 4-3-3, so four defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 forwards. So the starting 11 is we have Alyssa Nair as the goalkeeper. For defense, we have Crystal Dunn, Becky Sauerbrunn, Abby Dalkemper, Kelly O'Hara. Midfield, we have Christy Mewis, Lindsay Horan, and Samantha Mewis. And for forwards, we have Megan Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, and my personal favorite, Kristen Press. Pretty sure Kristen Press, so far in the summer series and in this game against Mexico, I'm pretty sure she's starting to become everyone's favorite at this point. So I wrote a little bit about the lineup. So yeah, pretty standard lineup. Get used to it. These are the same players going to the Tokyo Olympics. Vlatko already decided who he was taking, and these are the players plus the substitutes that he is going with. So yeah, I wrote pretty standard. We have both Mewis sisters starting against Mexico, and on the substitutions, Tobin Heath was listed as one of the substitutes. I was wondering when we were going to see Tobin Heath, and I was kind of looking forward to if she was actually going to play in this game or if she was going to play in the next game against Mexico. But if you saw this game, yeah, I hate to spoil it for you guys, but if you didn't see this game, yeah, Tobin Heath actually did make an awesome appearance in this game. So, on another note, things are still uncertain about Julie Ertz. She did show up at the game, but she wasn't listed as a substitute, and I don't think she's going to be listed as a substitute for the next game against Mexico. So yeah, it seems like Tobin Heath did make a full recovery, but things are still up in the air when it comes to Julie Ertz. Personally, I would have taken Lindsay Horan, but also Andy Sullivan and Midge or Margaret Pierce. Yeah, I'm going to be salty about that for a while, because I would have loved to... Things are still up in the air when it comes to Julie Ertz. Like, is she going to be ready in time for the Olympics? And yeah, I would have... Don't worry, I'll get over the saltiness of that selection, just like many people probably are. But still, I would have preferred to see Andy Sullivan and Margaret Pierce. But moving on. So as for Mexico's women's team, I kind of used to follow them when I was really into soccer, and for this year they haven't really won in any of their recent friendlies. They have lost, especially 5-1 against Japan, but they had losses, but there were some games where they had draws. But something to notice about this Mexico team is that they're a very young team. A lot of the players, when I was looking them up, they seem to be in their early to late 20s, like early, mid, late 20s. So this is a very young team. And there were some recognizable names, like Stephanie Mayor and Bianca Sierra. So that's kind of cool to see them, and it's nice to know that they're still playing, because I do remember those players. So yeah, When it comes to Mexico, it's going to be interesting to see how this young team develops and grows. Again, they may not have done well in their previous friendlies, but this is a team that is still growing, and hopefully we get to see more of this Mexico women's team in the future. All right, let's get into the first half. Right off the back, Mexico is starting off very aggressively, very early on in the game. Something I noticed was that the U.S. really needs to stop giving up possession, and they need to be more accurate with passing. Honestly, I can already hear my coaches yelling, "Who are you passing to?" Whenever we made like a weird pass or we made a pass that caused us to lose possession. So 6 minutes in, there's Mexico corner. Mexico gets a corner, nothing comes from it. 8 minutes in, US gets a corner, nothing comes from it. Yeah, I think US really needs to work on, the US women's team needs to work on those corners. US just needs to keep up a strong possession. I also noted that Mexico seems like a very fast team, a very athletic team, and is keeping up well with the US team very early on. And this is a very young Mexican team. Like, this is kind of like the benefit of having like very, very young players. The speed, endurance, stamina. Yeah, this team has it, and they're able to keep up with the US. Something else that I noted, and I noted in my previous videos while watching these games, is that the US needs to be patient with the ball. More patience, just more waiting for the right time to make a play or make these passes. I also said that in the first half, the US needs to put more pressure on Mexico and not let them control the pace of the game. So, yeah, Mexico takes another shot on the US goal, but Nair gets to it. 20 to 21 minutes in, Sam Mewis is able to find an opening and scores with an assist from her sister, Christy Mewis. So the score is 1-0. After this, the US kind of picks up momentum. There's a US corner and nothing comes from it, to be expected. So then it starts raining, like heavy, heavy rain. And I know that this could change up the game. The players, when it starts raining, like, players really need to be careful. The grass or the ground could be really slippery, and it could also be hard to see. I don't think I've ever played lacrosse or soccer in the rain. I did play on like a field after it rained, but the field was kind of shitty and there were holes and it was muddy. Yeah, it's never good to play in the rain or even after the rain. But yeah, I kind of just noted that the players could slip and get hurt, and that's not something that they want, especially going towards the Olympics. Like, we don't need any more injuries. So the game is starting to come down. Alyssa Nair had some good blocks and saves so far. There was some great 1v1 by Dow Kemper. And in the 39th minute, Kristen Press gets her goal with an assist from Megan Pinot. And the first half ends 2-0. So yeah, exciting and very fun first half. Like, I can't really say the same for the players because they all got really soaked by that rain, and I kind of felt bad for the Mexico players because they were in white jerseys. So white shirts, white jerseys, and being completely drenched in rain isn't really a good mix. And I guess we're starting to like those new USA away kits, right? But yeah, I would say that going back to the first half, the start of it was kind of rough for the US, but towards the middle and end of the first half, the US started to pick up, and the game started to pick up even more. Mexico was looking very confident, and according to stats in the first half, the US had 57% possession and Mexico had 43% possession. So yeah, Mexico, it's not quite 50-50, but it's getting there. Overall, I said the US needs to put more pressure on Mexico. They can't keep giving up the ball very easily, especially when it comes to passes. And I think the biggest one is the US needs to be more patient with the ball and making sure they're holding on until the right moment to pass or to score or to make a shot on goal. All right, so the second half, which was probably which is probably the wildest one. Like, the second half, I didn't really take that many notes, mainly because I was so into the second half by now, and you're gonna see why if you don't know already. So, the second half, the US starts off with a substitution. Adriana Franch comes in for Alyssa Nair. So, that's actually a good thing because Alyssa Nair has had more games than Alyssa Nair has had more games than Adriana. I think one of the announcers said that Adriana Franch only had 4 caps. Or, yeah, I think that's what they said. Like, Adriana didn't really get that much game time, and it's good that Vlatko is switching out the goalkeepers and not just relying on Alyssa. So Adriana Franch got to play in this half, which is great. It's still raining really, really hard, and I'm imagining that the players were able to switch out they were able to dry off and switch out of their wet gear or their wet clothes and put on new clothes, new shoes, new socks, so on. Something that I noticed, the US is playing more aggressively in this half. Crystal Dunn, we kind of got to see more of Crystal Dunn play, and honestly, I am loving Crystal Dunn. She is such a fast player. She's great when it comes to making those plays and moving the ball down the field for her teammates. I'm noticing that, yeah, the US has very strong possession, and they're staying, in the second half, they're mainly staying near Mexico's goal and getting into the box, but they're not quite making those shots on goal. They're very close, though. Honestly, I think the US is playing better in the second half. More aggressive play, more possession, and more pressure on Mexico. So 70 minutes in, I'm kind of still wondering when Vlatko will make substitutions. The players look fine, but I'm just wondering with the rain if they're tired. Finally, I didn't keep track of what minute it was, but Tobin Heath does come in for Megan Rapinoe. So yeah, Tobin Heath comes in, subs in for Megan Rapinoe. Emily Sonnet comes in for Christy Mewis, and as soon as Tobin Heath steps onto the field, she makes an awesome goal. She scores with an assist from Alex Morgan. And the cool thing is that goal was from distance. Yeah, such an awesome goal. It's awesome. I'm probably going to watch that goal like so many times tomorrow. But yeah, welcome back, Tobin. That was awesome. The US is up by 3. Mexico is still at 0. Yeah, more substitutions. Katarina Macario comes in for Kelly O'Hara. Tierna Davidson and Carly Lloyd come in for Crystal Dunn and Alex Morgan, respectively. And then Kristen Press gets her second goal of this game. US is now 4, and Mexico is still at 0. And that's kind of where it ends there. That's the last goal of the game. Something to note is that as this game is winding down, Mexico is no longer maintaining possession. It's great that the US keeps getting it back so they can make these plays, but Mexico is getting tired. And once again, it's raining really hard. And yeah, the game comes to an end, and I also noted it's nice to hear equal pay chants at the stadium because, yeah, the women's team deserved to be paid equally. Okay, overall, and I'm talking about the game as a whole, overall this game was amazing, especially in the second half where the US had what looked like full and total possession. I feel as though Mexico may have gotten tired because when it came to Mexico, they slowed down a lot in the second half. I'm starting to notice that this could be a good strategy for the US. And I've heard like other commentators say that the US tends to tire out opposing teams, like getting them to waste all their energy in the first half, and then the US can come in very strong in the second half. It definitely looks like a good strategy. But yeah, it's a good strategy, but probably not the best, especially if we're going up against a stronger team. If we're going up against stronger teams during the Olympics. So, yeah, there's that. Kristen Press was amazing in this game, getting 2 goals. Sam Mewis is still looking amazing and great. When it comes to her sister, Christy Mewis, I'm kind of loving her aggressiveness, especially when she doesn't. I don't think she plays defense, but she seems to be like a very aggressive player, especially in the midfield, which is something that is needed. And another thing that I noted was, yeah, Tobin Heath is back. It was amazing, honestly. I wish I could have been at the stadium when Tobin walked out, or when Tobin stepped out to be substituted in. Like, the stadium just erupted, and it honestly just gave me goosebumps, like listening to how excited people were to have Tobin back on the team. And yeah, as soon as Tobin got on the field and scored, everyone was ecstatic, including her teammates. And not only did Tobin score, she scored from a distance. And yeah, as I said, I'm probably going to watch that a few times just because that was such an awesome goal. And a lot of people weren't sure if Tobin was going to be ready for the Olympics, and it definitely seems like she is. Julie Ertz, it's still up in the air. Hopefully she'll be ready, but who knows. Anyway, that is all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you all in the next one. Later.